Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. Terrence is out this week, but we once again have a extremely light show that we will try to stretch out and make something interesting. This week, we did do a ton of checked out, as we have been. I did talk about watching The Lighthouse. I just didn't have time, so I'm gonna scrap that and push that off to next week. I just simply did not have the moments to watch it. So we'll jump right into checked out. Micah, you watched Uncut Gems. I'm listening. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I finally watched it, and it's very good. This is so good that I forgot I was watching Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Like, he really disappeared into that role, which is very difficult for me to come to grips with because it's Adam Sandler.
Yeah, you hate Adam Sandler.
I generally find Adam Sandler to be very, very unfunny.
Right.
But he did an excellent job. Like, I can't believe I can't believe he has that type of performance in him.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, he was robbed, dude. Like, he was
for Oscar season
of a nomination. Yeah.
Yeah. How that got completely snubbed is crazy to me.
Because people had the same exact point of view that I had about Adam Sandler. Oh, the little Nicky guy? Who the fuck is that? And,
right, but you're not supposed to. You're not. I mean, yeah, I understand like audience views, but like, you're the Academy. You're supposed to look at the movie.
You're supposed to watch this stuff. And when I watched it, I was immediately turned around. I was like, wow, man, this is amazing. This is really, really good. Plus, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it really is.
What's his name? Kevin Garnett was.
Yeah, KG was good.
He was good, man.
Surprisingly, by the way, because I'm like,
yeah,
we lean in a lot on an athlete.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
If you've ever heard an athlete cut a radio promo, I mean, it is. And
it's not the best.
And thank you and I always go to Jimmy's House of Wheels for all of my tires, right? Like, it's like right. You can tell that they're reading and that they read at an athlete level.
No, that's not fair. A professional athlete level, which is different.
But no, he did a very, very good job. The story, once it kind of, I kind of figured what was going to happen to Howard at the end happened to him.
Oh, really? Yeah, I did not think that was going to happen.
I did, because I did not trust that one guy, the guy that did it.
Yeah,
I didn't trust him, man. I mean, look, if you haven't seen it by now, turn this up, pause it, and then go watch it. But yeah, for him to die at the end, because everything was going good. And I think I remember that NBA Finals with Boston winning.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that might have been the year that Kevin Garnett was like, anything is possible. No. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, well, they're going to win. He's going to hit it big, and it will be just like this movie for something tragic to happen.
Right.
And it was. Yeah, I was blown away by how good that is, because everyone says, oh, this movie's really good. This movie's really good. And I tend to kind of push back on that a little bit.
Yeah, you're a bit of a cynic.
Yeah, like, everyone loves this, and I was ready to find something wrong with this movie.
I was ready.
But the only thing that I think is that could have, this is my complaint for most movies, it felt a little long.
Yeah, it did. I'll give you that.
It felt very long. It was only 2 hours and 15 minutes, but there was something about it that was, it felt like it was like damn near 2:45 to me.
That's interesting. I mean, the thing is, the Safdie brothers do a good job of like really, like when you hit that final act, and it's the same thing for their other movies. When you hit that final act of like where all things are sort of culminating, it works so well because you have spent so much time with those characters, right? Yeah. And that can draw the time out, right? Like, so even if it's 2:15, it feels like it's longer. Like Good Time feels it has the same feel to it, but it's because
they did Good Time.
Oh, did you watch it?
No, they did it. That's on Netflix. I'll watch that for next week.
Yeah, like they do a similar thing in those characters, or specifically Robert Pattinson. You know him so very well, and you've seen all the shit he's gone through. So at the end, like when that like last act happens, you are so invested in him, and that's the whole thing with Howard in this. Like you are incredibly invested in what his little scheme is to kind of get out of everything because you've seen him so heavily detailed throughout the movie. So yeah, I can totally understand that argument that it feels long.
The Howard character is really good. He because I wanted to not like him because it was Adam Sandler, but I forgot that it was Adam Sandler, and I just kind of got lost in his performance. And it's like, oh, this guy seems like a really nice guy, but he's got that one flaw, and that's gambling.
Yeah,
and it's so frustrating. His gambling addiction. I found myself, yelling at the screen. Like,
yeah. My wife and I were like, "Yo, don't do that." He's like, "No, just put a little bit more on." I'm like,
especially because like for everything that he did felt like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I think is pretty much what gambling addiction is like.
Yeah, man. But you really felt it, and yeah, it was really good, man. Yeah. It was very, very good.
Well, I charge you this week to watch Good Time on Netflix.
Yeah,
and here's the thing. It literally, like I said last week, it feels like it happened down the block from this. Right? Okay. Like, so, like if they're building a universe of like all of these things are happening. The Safdie universe. It feels like that. Like it has that same, like that movie, Uncut Gems is just like a ball of tension the entire time.
Yeah.
Like this dude is just running on the razor's edge on everything. I'm like, don't do that. Like, but what if it collapses the other way? Well, you're fucked. Like there's always that. And then like he teeters into complete disaster, and then he teeters like out of it. And then he's like, cool, I'm out of it. Let me lean a little bit back into disaster. You're like, for the love of God, please stop doing that. It's maddening. And Good Time isn't so much like a tension like that.
Good, because there's only so much of that I can take. That's another thing that made the movie feel longer than it actually is.
Yeah, you were on the razor's edge the whole time.
Yeah, I don't like too much of that. You know what I mean? Like it riles up anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is a complete, and he's an anxiety-ridden character too. So it's just kind of, you're like, fuck, please stop. Can somebody just have a cup of tea and fucking relax for 5 minutes? Where Good Time is like, it's a race against time in a way. But it doesn't have that same feel. I won't give up too much, but I don't think you'll have the same feeling. I think you will be incredibly invested in that story. Like that story pulls you in pretty quickly, and it's interesting. So yeah, I charge you to watch that this week, or the end of this week or whatever. All right, you watched Black AF or Black as Fuck on Netflix. I'm very interested. I have not had a chance to watch any of this.
Did you watch Blackish?
Yeah, I watched Blackish. I watched and Grownish. I never watched Mixish.
My wife watches Mixish. She really likes that show. She really likes Mixish. And she really likes Blackish, and she likes Grownish. But the pecking order would be Blackish, Mixish, Grownish.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everybody who watches all three pretty much says that.
Yeah. I love Blackish.
Yeah, Blackish is great.
Blackish is one of those shows that it's not like, I'm going to make an analogy in a second, but it's not like must see TV for me. Like, I'm not going to schedule like, quality time around it.
Right.
I will, but if we, have some quality time and want to watch TV, we can always throw Blackish on.
That's exactly how it is in our household. Exactly the same. Like, we're not like, oh, new season of Blackish. Like, we're not like that, but it's like, oh, Blackish. Okay, cool.
Here's a new episode of Blackish.
Right.
Let's watch this.
That's literally like we are seasons behind, but if we're sitting down and it's like, oh, we can't think of anything to watch. If my wife sees Blackish like come across on Hulu, she's like, oh, let's watch that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I can watch it like pretty easily.
Yeah. So, we're on agreement. Blackish is a very good show.
Yep.
So the analogy here for Black as Fuck is Blackish is Seinfeld. Black as Fuck is Curb Your Enthusiasm, right?
Okay.
Where where Curb Your Enthusiasm is a little more wealthy and a little more mean spirited and a little more Jewy. Black as Fuck is a little more wealthy, a little more mean spirited, a little more black, right? Like but like black in a bit of an ignorant sense. You know what I mean? Like, because Dre is black. Dre is like, he wears his blackness on his sleeve.
Yeah.
And
he's weird. He's trying to prove something to his family while also being in a very white world.
Right.
All right.
And that's kind of what's going on with this Kenya Barris show. But this show, the biggest problem with this show is Kenya Barris himself. Kenya Barris is not a good actor.
Oh, so it's like Seinfeld then.
He's not an actor, period.
No.
And there's only so much, only like 2 of the kids are strong actors. The rest of them are kids, right?
Right.
So they're not child actors, they're children. And Rashida Jones is very good. She's playing very against type. She's playing she's playing somebody that's like black as shit, but like really wealthy, but like still black. And this show is.
I wonder, is she playing against type? She's playing against the types of roles that she gets versus I don't know how she is in real life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how, she's Quincy Jones.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that is kind of how she is in real life. Who knows?
Right.
Didn't she date Busta Rhymes at one time?
I think so.
Yeah, so, I mean, she can't be that white. Right. I'm just saying.
So, full disclosure, I've only watched 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt the need to jump back in it.
People say it picks up after like episode 5. Like
that's what I hear. So they're only like 30 to 40 minute episodes. I'll try to get through some of them, but even my wife is like, this is okay.
Okay. Yeah. All I've heard is like, yeah, the first couple episodes are fine. And then it hits episode 5 and then it just takes off. I've heard that literally a dozen people have said that. So
if you can get past Kenya Barris's like really whiny voice.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, somebody else said that too.
Yo, he's got it's
really bad.
Like he's like, but I want to wear my chain. And if I wear my chain, then I'm perpetuating the stereotype of this and that. If I drive a flashy car, then I'm perpetuating the stereotype that all black people, when they get money, they have to get cars. But this other guy who's super rich is driving around in a piece of shit, hybrid. But if I were to get a piece of shit hybrid, then people would think I'm poor. And I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Just get a Lambo, my nigga.
Like, it's not that serious, yo. It's not that serious.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not rich, so I don't know. But if I was rich, I'm just going to get the car I want and just let people judge me as I drive past them very quickly, looking very rich. Fuck that. I'm not going to drive around like a poor person. Get out of here. I'm rich.
Right.
I'm a nigga. I want you to know it. Fuck you.
Like, he's trying to be like super black, but also enjoy the the luxuries of being like new money black. And
nigga, give me a couple $1 million. I wish I thought so. Get the fuck out of here.
So it's like he's like that's the whole black as fuck thing, right? That's where it comes from. Like they're very much incredibly wealthy, but still like not quite like niggas, right? But they kind of playing niggas. I don't know.
So is he playing himself? Is he actually Kenya Barris?
Yes, he's playing Kenya Barris.
Oh, interesting.
That's where it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Larry David is playing like not that hyper.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think it's that different. They don't have a script. That's just his life,
right?
In an outline.
And Kenya Barris is playing what I am assuming is a not quite hyper realistic version of himself. It's he's playing his life.
Okay.
But it seems all right. I'll try to get to episode 5.
But, apparently that's many people have told us that we have to see that specifically for black on black cinema. So we'll see.
All right.
I'll check it out. I don't know that I'll have a chance to check it out this coming week. Maybe my wife and I will sit down and watch it. But I'm dying to watch Waco on Netflix. I'm finish Ozark, so I'm trying not to pick up a new series until I have to finish all my vegetables first before I go and try something else on my plate. So, all right. So you watch those. You also watch Guns Akimbo. Go ahead and tell me about your bad decision this week, Micah.
Yeah, I don't know why
I don't know either.
I don't know why.
No one forced you to do this.
Guns Akimbo is available on digital if you want to not rent it, and it's about it's about this one. I think it takes place in Philadelphia because there's a 215 area code in the movie, and I'm like, yep, this makes a whole lot of sense.
Is this in the future? No, this is right now in Philadelphia.
Exactly. So in this world, there is this underground organization known as Schism, which is basically like just underground death matches that people can stream on their devices. They have drones flying around as these two people try to kill each other for our entertainment.
Cool.
I guess people place bets or whatever on it. It's supposed to be a commentary, I guess, on the human condition and how we love to watch violence and we keep our phones, our heads buried in our screens and stuff like that. And there's this one character who's really good, called Nix, played by Samara Weaving. And there's this guy played by Daniel Radcliffe. He's a video game programmer who's also a loser, and it's every stereotype of the video game nerd from someone that probably doesn't play video games.
This sounds exactly like something I would turn off after 10 minutes.
Right. And he's a super loser, right? And he goes home and he's got Cheeto dust and shit all over his hands and all that. But he enjoys troll hunting, right? He enjoys fucking with trolls. Well, I mean, if you're fucking with trolls, you're just a troll, right?
Yeah.
So he goes on and he talks shit to the wrong person, and that person grabs his IP address. They find out where he lives, and it turns out that these people are the organizers for Schism. So they kidnap him, drug him, and bolt 2 guns to his hand. Hence Guns Akimbo, right?
Right.
And he says, if you want to get out of this, you have to go kill Nix. And Nix is like the badass, right? Nobody has been able to kill her. She's like the Terminator.
Right.
And it turns out Nix has to do this if she wants to be free from whatever, is keeping her there by the people at Schism. So the rest of the movie is, the two of them trying to, Daniel Radcliffe doesn't want to do it. Samara Weaving feels like she has to, and she's really good at it. And it's the two of them going back. It's a cat and mouse thing, right? This should be like some sort of commentary on like internet trolling and bullying and stuff like that, but it's not. It just is it's a bad version of, it's shot like a bad version of Crank.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I was just going to say this sounds like something Neville, Dean, and Taylor would have come up with.
Yeah. And it's not, it's all style and no substance. And
how the fuck did they get Harry Potter to do this movie?
I think he was trying so hard to play things against the Harry Potter type.
But he's been doing that for years.
Right.
He didn't need this.
So I don't know. Like there's like death metal versions of songs that aren't death metal. You know what I mean? Like,
say no more.
It's not.
Say less.
It's not. It's not for me.
It doesn't sound like it's for me either.
Plus, then I looked up the director, and it turns out the director has some controversy of that they were about to, like, people were wondering if the movie was even going to be released.
Oh, great!
Right. So I won't bore you with all that shit, but
thank you.
This movie is not for me. Maybe this movie feels like it's for like 12-year-olds.
Leonardo would love it.
No, he wouldn't.
Wow. Wow. So it's not for 14-year-olds. That's crazy.
No, it's for like 12-year-old white people.
All right.
Very, very specific 12-year-old white boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a pretty juvenile concept.
Yeah.
The concept is pretty juvenile, but okay.
I thought it would at least have like
fun
cool
action
shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, nah. Like, they get into.
Cranked has its fun, right? It's ridiculous, but it has its fun.
Right. And this tries to have fun, but like it tries way too hard. Like at one point, Samara Weaving's character gets her fingers blown off, her middle and ring finger blown off. And one of the hilarious jokes is that
let me guess. She'll never be able to masturbate or finger some chick ever again.
That's one of them. She's like, as soon as her fingers are blown off, she says, Friday nights are going to be really lonely. Like, I get it. It's a flick in the bean joke. And then
that's so obvious. Yeah, it's so obvious.
And then another one is she is pissed off at someone, and she does this, like she throws her hand up, and the person is like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have a middle finger." So she finds her middle finger and sticks it on her hand, and then just say, "This is what I'm trying to do." Like. All right, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this sounds like the same people who really think racist jokes on Xbox Live are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like it's the same crowd. Yeah, okay, cool.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Cool.
Jesus Christ. This quarantine got to end, man.
This is what you're watching?
Right.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Watch anything else. Else. Guns akimbo. Okay, I watched, and did you watch this?
Oh, of course I watched it. This is the best Call of Duty game I've ever seen.
We both watched the next two movies, which Angel Has Fallen. Whoo boy. This is on Netflix. This is obviously the culmination of the trilogy, of the Has Fallen trilogy. Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, and now Angel Has Fallen. The general premise of this movie is Gerard Butler is back as Mike Banning, American soldier Mike Banning. And he is continuing his job of protecting the president, which is wild because he has been involved with 2 massive attacks on the president, but somehow he's still in charge. But this time, Morgan Freeman is the president, who's been in the previous 2 movies, who I'm pretty sure is exactly what Barack Obama would be if he were president at Morgan Freeman's age. It's kind of crazy when you watch. I'm like, yo, Barack? Is that you? Like it's like Barack Obama in old people makeup. Like it's a little weird.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's kind of like, I was just like, for a second, I was like, this is the most positive part about this entire movie. I miss him so much. But he gets attacked, and we'll talk about it. And the attack on the president, while Mike Banning is in close proximity, is blamed on Banning, and he is the number 1 subject. And so he is the guardian angel of the president, as they refer to him as a code name. So when they think that he's gone rogue, they refer to it as the angel has fallen. And so then it's like a race against time for him to try to prove his innocence. I picked out the villain in
the moment
he showed up.
Both.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Like, come on, yo.
Like the main villain, I was like, well, that guy's a villain in everything.
Yeah, that guy was Stryker in that Wolverine movie.
Right. I was like, he did it.
Right,
it's him.
Right. He's got a villain face.
Right? Yeah, like, that guy's not the hero in any movie.
No,
never.
No.
So I was like, okay, that's obvious. And then the vice president showed up. I was like,
right, come on. Yeah.
And again, this guy's got a face of a bad guy. Yeah. Okay, can we talk about the attack on the president? Because I think that's the most relevant part of the movie. If that ever happened in reality, the president is dead, right? Like, this is not a thing that you're escaping from.
No.
Which is a series of drones. I'm just saying, I'd like to just give these ideas out publicly. This is a series of drones fired from the back of a truck that all they do is they're kamikaze. They're like little bombs. They're like just grenades. And they just fly around to their destination, and then they just fly into the ground and blow shit up. How are you supposed to defend against that? And they fire like 200 of these things.
Yeah, they look like they thought they were a swarm of bats. That's how many of them there were. Like,
right.
They were flying around like locusts, man.
I mean, look, in fairness, like the creativity of that scene was kind of dope. It was insane.
Oh, look, these movies aren't like good, but they're like fun.
They're good bad movies.
Yeah, they're super fun movies, and the action in them is generally very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is that drone attack was pretty clever, right? Like,
it was. I've never seen that in a movie.
Yeah, and that's all I'm looking for in these type of movies.
Yeah, give me something unique
that I've never seen before.
Right.
And yeah, man, I actually kind of like this series. I like the first one and the third one more than the second one.
Yeah.
I can remember.
Yeah, the second one was okay. This one definitely has a more visceral violence feel to it that I actually quite enjoyed.
And the Antoine Fuqua one, which was, I think that was the first one, right?
Yes.
That one was surprisingly violent to me. Like, I was not expecting it to be that violent.
No, but that movie super worked for me. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb as hell. He shoots way too many people with headshots, but I enjoy the hell out of it.
I think I'm a Fallen fan.
I mean, here's the thing. We could do these on No Time to Bleed, yo. Like,
I mean, I have no problem.
They're quintessential No Time to Bleed movies, by the way.
Yeah, man. Like, it's very cool, man. It's very cool. Apparently, people have accused at least the second film in particular of terror exploitation, which is exploitation that I have never heard of before.
Is this like massage noir? Is this like one of those made up words?
Yeah.
I hate that. Stop doing that.
But you know what? I need more terror exploitation films. in my life.
But here's the thing.
Because this is
who cares? This movie is dumb as fuck, dude. Who gives a shit? This is not a real commentary on anything.
Right.
It's not.
Look, you wanna just save for the next movie we're about to talk about. Save
your be offended.
Save all that ire for that movie. But because
that movie's a 5 out of 5. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of these movies, man. I actually really like them. And
yeah, I know they're trash, but I enjoy them.
They're fun. They're fun. That's all I want these movies to be. I want them to be fun.
Yeah,
and the violence helps. So
yeah, and look, we make fun of Gerard Butler because him being like an all-American guy is just hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, he does a pretty good job in this role. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's for what it is. It's not bad.
Yeah, man.
He's doing exactly what he should be doing in these movies, and it works. I'm gonna need Gerard Butler to like maybe work out. Like he's just looking like he's just like.
He's a far cry from 300, man.
The only thing that. You know what? I was going to be a real dick and say the only thing that's 300 is part of that scale when he gets on it. I was like, yo, his cheeks are mad chubby. Yo, like what happened? You used to be shredded, bro. And I expected you to look like 300. I mean, that was insane.
Right, but yeah, come on, yo.
He's really. I mean, all jokes aside, he's really showing his age.
Yeah,
he really is.
Yeah, he is.
But I thought he was pretty. I mean, again, for what this series is, and it's dumb as a brick. It's dumb as shit. For what the series is, he works. I'm not mad at him.
He is? Do you know how old he is?
46?
50.
He looks 50.
He looks a little more than 50 on the dot. He looks like
I'll give you that.
I thought he was like.
I was trying to be helpful.
I thought he was closer to 60 than 50.
Oh no! Come on, Jesus.
55. Look, 55 is closer to 60 than 50.
Well, okay, that's fair. There is some shady CGI in this movie, by the way. They were really cutting. They were cutting corners, man.
There is in this, and there is in the next movie, which is completely like unnecessary, right? Like at least some of the shady, like the shadiest CGI that I saw in this movie was when there was an explosion and there was a cloud of dust, and then you see them walking in the foreground, and the dust is in the virtual background.
Right. I'm looking at this like this helicopter landing. I'm like, oof, that
helicopters don't like.
Yeah, they don't do that. Have you guys ever seen a real helicopter? Like that is not a thing. Like
the stealth of helicopters and shit.
Yeah, it's like it literally stopped on a dime. So I'm like, no, it would have stalled, and the president would have crashed into that building and died in apparently the first 24 minutes of the movie. Yeah, the villain was like really obvious. I don't like that Jada Pinkett Smith is in this movie.
Well, she ain't in it for the whole thing. So
nah, I just happened to fast forward right to that part. Hour and 18 minutes.
I think she was fine. She was, she was very believable. That's one thing I like about this. Also, it's just black people and white people, just like living. Like it's not all one race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got Lance Reddick in it, who I always enjoy.
Yeah, like who don't like Lance Reddick, man?
He's the most serious dude in any scene he's in. If he is in a scene, he is the most serious person by far.
Right. Like he's a really good actor too, man.
Yeah, he is. He is. People have suggested him for Professor X. What do you think of
that? It would be amazing.
I think he could do it.
This nigga from Baltimore is fucking.
Is he from Baltimore?
Mutants and shit. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
He was born in Baltimore. I don't know how long he stayed here because he doesn't have an accent.
Yeah, he probably was like, "This is bullshit," and then walked out. Like I get it. I think he'd be a pretty interesting Professor X.
He would be an amazing Professor X. One,
He's got the voice.
he's got the look. Two, he's got a very commanding voice. Like I could see him leading a bunch of youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They would never do it, right?
No,
never do it.
They don't have the balls for that.
No.
You might get a brown Magneto, but I don't think you're getting a brown Professor X. No way.
A brown Magneto. I mean, look, there is a case that can be made, but that's a stretch. And
hey, how long are you gonna make this nigga fucking survivor of the Holocaust? He's 154 years old. Like at a certain point, you've got to change that. Like you just have to. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. Like at a certain point, you just gotta let that go. You gotta let it go.
Is there a different Jewish tragedy that can be exploited
for comic book good? Yeah. No, not really. I mean, Holocaust is kind of the big one. Like, you know, everything else seems pretty derivative after that. I just feel like personally, people had suggested like Giancarlo Esposito. I think he'd be fucking tremendous. I think he would be. You could have him be a Haitian refugee. Like you could have, if you wanted to keep it with like a white guy, you could do something like the Bosnian War, like the genocide.
That's probably what they'll do. They're just like
Syrian, dude. Make him Syrian. Steve Jobs was Syrian. He looked white.
Like with Iron Man, right? When Iron Man first came out, it was the Vietnam War.
Right, you have to update it. You have to.
You know, and then it was Iraq or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I think you have to update it. But you could do, you know, Bosnia Herzegovina, that genocide as the jumping off point, because then you could still keep him, you know, lily white. But if you wanted to go brown, there are plenty of genocides that you could play off of. I think the Haitian one would be, or not Haitian, I'm sorry, Rwandan genocide, I think would be a tremendous one to do. It really would. Because the U.S. fucked up. They didn't go in, so then he could like still be pissed at the United States. Like, it would totally work.
Yeah. And then they would really be hitting that, you know, that bigotry nail on the head. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to do Magneto in the modern day, like, give him something to lean into hard. Yeah. Because then, look, like the Rwandan genocide, Bill Clinton was president, right? Like, because, you know, Republicans can't take any fucking, like, real life criticism. They get sad and shit. They just hit Democrats. Democrats are like, yeah, this nigga has magnetic powers. Who gives a fuck? Criticize away.
Yeah, it's fake, yo.
Like, nigga, this shit's not real.
Kevin Spacey ain't real. Frank Underwood ain't real.
Yeah, Bill Clinton's like, yeah, none of that happened. You right. Hillary in the background. Keep your mouth shut. But yeah, like, said Democrats. Who gives a fuck?
I added a movie on here before we talk about the pièce de résistance.
Okay, go for it.
Final film.
Oh, yeah, right. Underwater.
Yeah, I that shows you how much I thought of this movie.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention it. Underwater is a science fiction horror film.
Sure. If you say so.
Starring Kristen Stewart, Vincent Cassel, Jessica Henwick, T.J. Miller, and Mahmoud Athi. Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah. We just watched something with him.
Yeah, Uncorked.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Uncorked. I don't know what happened first, if Uncorked happened and then this, or if this and then Uncorked, but... Well,
Underwater came out first.
Well, he should have just stuck with Uncorked. But he wasn't in Underwater long, so...
Of course not. Racism.
Look, this is about... a research facility, a research drilling facility that's stationed at the bottom of the Marianas Trench. There's an earthquake and bad stuff happens, and it turns out that there are these, you know, gigantic like alien sea creatures or whatever that are there, and they're trying to kill them, and these people are trying to walk on the sea floor from one drilling facility to another drilling facility to get help.
No.
Yeah.
Call an underwater cab. I'm not walking out there.
They're all apparently everyone is the radios are out or whatever.
No, of course they are.
You know. This movie I guess is fine for what it's trying to do. It's not very scary. And like it's acted okay, you know, except my only problem is that Kristen Stewart's character has like inner monologues that, you know, she talks to the audience, and they're not good. Yeah. But when everyone's interacting with everyone else, yeah, it's fine. It does what it needs to do. You get to hear Jessica Henwick in her natural accent, which is awesome. But the creature design is just kind of generic. Like, do you remember in Spaceballs, the thing that the chest burster in Spaceballs?
Yeah. Hello, my baby.
They kind of look like that.
No.
But and I told you before a couple of days ago that I'm watching Underwater, and then I have a hot take. And,
yes, you did.
And this is my hot take. All of these movies, Underwater, Life, you know, all of these movies are from what I'm told, derivatives of Alien in the Alien franchise.
Yes, probably.
These movies aren't good. So if they're all derivative of Alien,
I'm not gonna let you do this. I'm not gonna allow that. No.
I'm just saying, man. Like, Alien must not be that great.
No. Agree to disagree. Here is the thing. When things are generally derivative, it's because they are very poor versions of the original. Not that they're just carbon copies of the original. Okay, you really enjoyed, was it Life? That crazy alien movie?
Yeah, but the only it's the same thing as this, except
this is a better done film.
Life is a better movie,
right?
Like,
but Life is probably the best. In all honesty, Life of that, like, quote unquote derivative version of Aliens, it is easily one of the best ones I've ever seen. Derivative. Okay. So if you're using Life as the, like, you should use Life as the bar and not Underwater as the bar. I think that's a better way to look at Alien. You should watch Alien this week. You ain't got nothing going on.
I ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah.
All right, I'll watch Alien.
You should watch Alien, and like Alien first as the horror movie. Yeah, I think you will actually enjoy it. It's quite well done. And it has some serious tension moments. Like, it really does. But it's because it's like the budget wasn't that high. It's like the first Jaws, right? Mm-hmm. Like, when you can see the shark all the time, that's when you're like, oh, this is really not that interesting. But when it's like, oh shit, the shark, nigga, like, and it shows up for 5 seconds, like, that freaks you out, right? Because, you know, it's that not knowing part.
Well, that's and it's going to be a little difficult because I know what the alien creature looks like.
So, right? Yeah, that's true.
You know, I've seen it all over the place. It's like a fixture in pop culture.
Right.
So, but we'll see if the movie's as good as you say it is.
It's better than those other fucking Prometheus and all that other shit. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I saw Prometheus. I was not impressed at all.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been. You should not have been impressed. Speaking of Underwater, let me make my daily plea, or my yearly plea to people, that they should read a comic book series called The Wake, which is really good, and it should be made into a fucking movie because it is excellent, or a television series. It's a book by Scott Snyder, who did a Batman run a couple years ago that was excellent, by the way. Like the what is it? The, like, Night of Owls or whatever.
Court of Owls.
Court of Owls. Thank you. God, it's been so long since I've even thought about that. Like, all of that's under Snyder's run. But yeah, he wrote this limited series. It's like 10 books called The Wake, which is fucking excellent. Actually, I'm thinking about rereading that. That's something like if you're interested in sort of like an underwater alien kind of thing, The Wake is a really good story. Like it's a really, really good story. I don't know why someone hasn't picked it up as a series or a movie, because it has the feeling of like an underwater version of something like The Thing, like in that way. Like the way it's drawn and everything else feels very like 70s style. It has a very creepy vibe. But I think people should read it. It's really good. And I'm not a big horror comic fan at all, but I stumbled upon it and I was like, I couldn't put it down. All right, let's talk about the greatest movie that's ever happened. Rambo: Last Blood. This is on Amazon Prime, so if you have Amazon Prime, do yourself a favor and watch this movie. Micah, what are your thoughts on this? I obviously thought it was perfect.
Not quite perfect, but
agree to disagree.
I didn't mind this at all. Like it's nice and tight. Right, like
it's an hour 30 minutes, boy, to the minute.
Right, and it is. There's very little like story or plot. Right, like the story is someone that Rambo cares about has been kidnapped. Rambo has to go and save that person. And the plot is maybe 2 more words added to that, right? Like in Mexico. Then that's the plot. And it's just old ass Sylvester Stallone doing what old ass Sylvester Stallone does, and then some. I would argue.
I would definitely argue that.
But yeah, if you are of Mexican descent, I could see you being a little miffed at this movie.
Don't even bother. Don't even fucking bother.
I mean, unless you like getting upset, don't worry about it.
Nah, and, this one ain't for you.
No, it is not.
God damn.
But yeah, like I mean, what is there to say? Like the first 2/3 of it is kind of, the first act is slow, the second act kind of picks up a bit, and then the third act is just
fuck you.
Cartoon. Yeah, it's a cartoon. It's cartoon violence, and I'm here for it.
Yo, this movie, right? Okay, it does a couple things. Surprisingly well, and a whole lot of things really badly. It establishes a general story, like you said. You know, Stallone or Rambo has to go into Mexico to get somebody. I gotta go. I gotta save her. I mean, I think they made the whole like human trafficking thing, like that felt rough. Like not in a bad, you know, like that felt horrible, like horrifying, right? In a way, like they don't deal with like the trauma of that like they did in 4, where it's like the horrendous trauma of war, right? Like 4 just felt like, why is this a Rambo movie? This feels like a documentary, right? Yeah. This feels like a Rambo movie, right? They're just like, here's some bullshit story enough to get him to kill a lot of people. And you're like, okay, this is why I watch these movies. Like, come on. So like the girl getting kidnapped and then like being used for human, like in human trafficking was kind of fucked up. And like, I was like, damn, that is kind of a serious topic for this bullshit ass movie. Like, come on. And of course they just drug her. Like they never like actually, at least they don't show like her being like forced into prostitution. But they certainly kind of implicate that like she was on her way to doing that. Like they make you hate the villains like pretty easily. Like you're like, how these guys steal girls and make them into prostitutes. Like, yeah, that's 100% thing I can hate. So it does that like kind of fine. it's really heavy-handed with like America versus Mexico sort of thing, where you're just like, are there any people in Mexico who aren't pieces of shit? They're like, no, everybody's a thief or a child pornographer or like whatever. Like they're all the worst type of people. I'm like, yo, they live like 50 miles from you, my nigga. Like, relax. Like, they're not all horrible people.
He literally drove there.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm just gonna head on down. Like, no big deal. So it does not do that well. It's a bit of a slog in the beginning because you're like, Rambo, you should be killing people now. Like, let's speed it up. Like, we all know why we're here. But that third act,
which is weird because it's only 90 minutes, right? Like,
yeah, I'm like, get to it. I was shocked. I mean, look, spoilers for Rambo Last Blood, if that really matters to you. I was shocked that they let the girl die.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, okay. Like, I thought for sure, like, he'd take her back and then, like, send her off and be like, then I gotta, make my last stand kind of thing.
And it wasn't even that she died. It was that she died after he saved her. Like, he actually went in and saved her, but she died anyway. Like, it would be one thing if she died in Mexico, weirdly,
right.
You know what I mean? Because it was like, oh, well, I get it,
You didn't get there in time.
Right. But like, nah, he did get there in time and he still and she still died.
Yeah.
And that's why he had to do what he had to do at the end of that movie.
Which was like, hey, everybody gotta die. I mean, like the entire time before the third act, all I thought was, oh, don't do that. You're gonna pay for that later. like every time someone slided up, I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. Just chalk that up to the laundry list of people who are gonna die in that tunnel. And they did. There's at one point, which I thought it was like one of the most violent things because it was so close quarters. He stabs a guy with his fucking Rambo knife in the thigh, like in that parking lot. Yeah. And then breaks the guy's collarbone with his thumb and then pulls the bone out of the skin. I was like, my nigga, what are you doing?
They're just trying to be gross.
I was like, I'm watching. I'm like, Jesus Christ. All right. It's like Terrence, like, this is just too loud. Like, this is too much. I found that I was like, okay, this is how we're starting. All right.
I was like, God damn, how the fuck you gonna top it? Oh,
that third act was bonkers. He literally at one point shot a guy at close range and blew his head off with a shotgun, a sawed-off shotgun, and as that guy's head got knocked clean off, they showed it. It's gone. His lifeless body is there. He walks by it and shoots it in the chest. I'm like, nigga, he don't have a head.
This nigga kills two dudes with the pit fatality, right?
For Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
They fall on a couple of spikes. They're dead. And even if they're not dead, they're not pulling themselves up out of those 3-4 foot long spikes. But Rambo has to make sure they're dead. So he goes over and he shoots them with a high caliber automatic weapon just while they have a big ass stalagmite sticking out of their gut just to make sure that they're dead. Like I get it, right? Like Rambo is all about like the horrors of war. Right? Like, that's why you see all the graphic violence because, like, war is hell, right? But this ain't war. This is just this is revenge.
Yeah, no, this is just a Tuesday. He is fucking wiling in this third act. At one point, I have this movie up. Again, Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you probably do. Just watch it. Just watch. They even have the 4K Ultra HD version included on Prime.
You can see all the bone marrow.
Yeah, you see it all. At one point, he had cut a hole. So he gets these guys down in this tunnel at his ranch. And he's standing in another tunnel, and he had drilled a hole where he made it big enough so he had like a metal like pike, basically. A guy is walking, he looks through said hole, because it's there on purpose, and he stabs the guy in the head with the pike, killing him immediately, right? Like, that guy is dead. Then the other guy who's right behind him sees this happen, starts shooting into the wall, trying to kill Rambo. Rambo drops down where he has a knife hanging over like an opening at leg level and just cuts this poor son of a bitch's leg clean off. Clean off. That guy falls, he's bleeding out, and then Rambo stabs that guy in the neck to kill him. Why was that necessary? But you know what? I was here for it. I just watched it again. It was great.
I mean, god damn, yo.
He just didn't give a fuck. So many people got murdered. Like, he literally threw 2 knives into a guy. He pit fatality those dudes. One guy got hit with something like across the face that just fucked his whole head up. I was like, okay. Then, can we talk about the ending, Micah?
Yo, the last guy got a Mortal Kombat death, yo. Like no bullshit. He got a Mortal Kombat death. And it's one of those weird things where, like, Mortal Kombat, like, they always have to come up with, like, different ways of killing people in those games. So...
yeah, because eventually it starts to get insane.
Right. Because it's like, oh, this is redundant. You pulled his head off and his spine is still attached. Whatever. Lame. I've seen that before. So you have to do all this extra shit, right? You have to do all this Rambo shit. This motherfucker gets first of all, he specifically waits for that guy to be the last guy and then gloats about it. I could have killed you 10 times already. I wanted to make sure you were last, right? Then he tracks him to a barn. He takes a bow and arrow, and look, I might have to rethink my stance on bows and arrows.
Nigga, yo, this scene was amazing.
He took a bow and arrow, and he fucking shot 4 arrows into this dude to pin him to the barnyard door, right? So he can't move. This motherfucker walks up to him. He hits forward, down, forward, triangle, and he fucking takes his Bowie knife and jabs it into his chest. I'm like, oh, damn, Rambo. That was a hell of a way to kill somebody. All right, time to walk off into, whoa, what are you doing?
But wait, there's more.
He's going. He's fucking digging into it, right? He's digging into it, right? And I'm like, yo.
He's popping through his chest plate.
Right. Like, this fucking sternum, yo. Yeah. The thing that protects your organs and shit. He's just breaking through it, right? And I'm like, all right, yo, I get it. Like, you must have already pierced it. You stabbed a little too high, and now you're going down to pierce his heart. I get it, Rambo. Okay, let's go. Wait, what is this? This is what it feels like. Like,
what does what feel like?
And then he proceeds to fucking reach in and pull this nigga's heart out of his chest.
That's not okay. Okay, do you have this scene up right now?
I'm about to watch it again.
This scene is insane. But I would just like to point out something that's very Hollywood. Right before he stabs this guy in the chest, if you just pause it, as he has the knife over his head and he's like, oh, he's about to do it. So Stallone has got like dirt and grime and blood all over him because he's killed 1,000 people in the last 25 minutes. His teeth are perfectly whitened. Like, it's kind of crazy how white his teeth are compared to everything else that is going on in this scene. He's like, yeah, I know, but I take really good care of my teeth, like super care.
Jesus Christ, dude! And it was funny. Yeah, his teeth are white. Wow.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Like, it's super wild.
Jesus, and yo, his blood is fucking pumping out. Yo, he rips into his fucking heart. And he rips into his body and pulls his heart out. This is what it feels like to have your heart ripped out. Like, this is what you did to me. You ripped my heart out.
Yo, it's still beating, yo. He's still beating when he shows it to him. It's still fucking beating. Come on. Yo, it would not be easy to cut through someone's chest plate. When they do that, they use a saw. Like a bone saw, my nigga. Like,
And they're not real men like Rambo.
They also, you can't just reach in and rip an organ out like a heart. It's got a couple of things attached to it. He's like, fucking aorta. He just rips it out. He ripped it out of his heart like he would just rip out like those turnips out of the ground in Super Mario 2. Like, this shit was like super easy. And he just showed it to him, and that guy died.
That shit was fucking amazing, yo. And then he fucking walks over and just, like a man at the end of a very hard day's work, just goes up, sits on the porch, and just surveys his work.
My question is he dead? Did Rambo die, you think?
I hope so, because it says Last Blood.
Well, I mean, it's Rambo First Blood, and then Rambo First Blood Part 2, and Rambo First Blood Part 3. So, naming convention, they're not the best of us.
I got the subtitles on, and it's just very funny to me, right? Because, after he has committed what is essentially amounts to genocide, right? He
killed every Mexican in a fucking 50-mile radius. It's insane.
And he's sitting down, and he gives this voiceover or whatever, right? And
you gotta close the border.
The subtitles have triumphant music as the thing that is playing in the background. Triumphant music. And when I just looked at what happened, triumph is not the word that comes to mind.
No, it is not. And I didn't realize this. I turned it off early. They're actually showing clips from the original Rambo.
Yeah, they show Rambo throughout the years. So this is the last Rambo with Sylvester Stallone. Now, do you think there will be a Rambo reboot? And would you like to see a Rambo reboot? With updated conflicts and stuff like that.
Here's the thing, though. Yes, and like an unequivocal no at the same time, because I feel like the obvious choice is John Barenthal, right? Like, I feel like that's what I want. But at the same time, this movie is so this series is so 1980s, yo. Like, This nigga ran around with long hair, a machine gun, and a bow and arrow at one. Like, this shit was nuts. I don't want I love First Blood. First Blood is a great film. It really is, and it should get a lot of credit. But that's not what the Rambo series really is. The Rambo series is First Blood 2 and First Blood 3, which are fucking nuts.
First Blood was like the commentary on how war is hell, and
Vietnam, how we treat Vietnam vets and shit.
Yeah, like because that was supposed to be the point of Rambo, right? Like that was supposed to be the reason. Like this guy's he's a lunatic, right? And
we did that.
Supposed to be the point, right? And we did that, and then it just kind of got flown off the rails.
Yeah, I guess if you want to make a series that's like First Blood, then yes. If you want to make a series that is like First Blood 2 and First Blood 3, oh no, those are classics. You don't touch those. Leave those alone. But if you wanted to say, hey, we're gonna make a Rambo series that's like very serious, and it stays much more in the vein of the first one, sure. I would love to see that being taken on by like a real serious director who could really bring that out. Hell yeah. But nah, you can't. We need to do First Blood 2 and 3 because those movies are fucking insane.
Yeah,
and they're pure gold.
Because goddamn, just going back and looking at this Rambo montage.
Yeah, look at the scenes from 2 and 3. They're nuts. They're completely nuts. And I'm here for it. Like, I'm not mad about that at all.
Oh, man. All right, Rambo.
This nigga didn't have a shirt on in the middle of a war. Like, what kind? You know what? fuck it. I don't need a shirt. Like, you're not even gonna wear a beater, my nigga? Like, nah, no beaters.
Nah, it'll weigh you down.
Dude covered in mud like fucking Schwarzenegger and Predator, killing people. He was a badass, dude. But that movie, 3 especially, is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. All right. Let's jump down to movie and TV news. Dwayne Johnson and Issa Rae team up for an HBO wrestling show. WWE legend and former Baller star will executive produce a show about backyard wrestling that is in development at the premium cable channel. But he will also be teaming with Issa Rae, who will also be executive producing. What do you think of this? Oh, you know what? Let me tell you what the show centers around. Titled Tray Count. The show centers on Cassius Jones, a dock worker and struggling pro wrestler who lives in Houston's 3rd Ward, also known as the Tray. It will follow working class family, neighbors, and friends of Cassius who come together, pooling their talents, resources, savvy, and dreams to build a unique hip-hop centric backyard wrestling empire from nothing, with Cassius using his inherited life insurance money and the deed to a shotgun house from his grandfather to start the American dream. It's an interesting premise.
Yeah, it is an interesting premise. Look, we give The Rock a hard time, but I don't hate The Rock. I've seen almost every episode of Ballers. Ballers just kind of ran its course with me before, like at the very last season.
I watched the first 3 seasons, I think. I enjoyed the first 3 seasons, and I just kind of got sick of it.
Yeah. I stopped watching when David Washington got hit by that car. So if you Ballers fans know.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he got hit by a car. And I just stopped watching because, I was just kind of bored with it. But I do like Issa Rae. I think Issa Rae is an incredible talent.
She is.
And the thing that The Rock does very well is that he will find something or someone and latch onto it. He calls it like franchise Viagra. No, you just find properties that people like and you want to get in on.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that.
It makes sense. I'm not knocking you. Like, it's very smart. But I'm curious as to what this is, right? Like, I'm curious as to whose idea this is. Like, who came to who first?
My guess is it was his idea first, and then he went to her, because I'm like, it's a struggling pro wrestler, working class family. That all feels like him, right? But then it's a unique hip hop centric backyard wrestling that does not feel like him.
No, he does not feel very hip hop to me.
Right. And I could see, and look, I don't even think this is a bad idea at all, because backyard wrestling is always, at least how it's presented online, is largely very white. That's a very white thing.
Most wrestling is very white.
Right, exactly. So a very black centric show that, I guess has some sort of, however you want to call it, hip hop centric roots in it. Yeah, if you want to take Issa Rae's like writing ability and character development ability and put that in the sort of wrestling world, with, The Rock being able to, sort of give his thoughts on what it was like coming up as like, as a person of color in the wrestling world and stuff like that, it could super work. It could. And if that's what it is, and it's like about chasing the American dream, yeah, I mean, that's what Ballers is basically too, right? Like, it's sports entourage, but it's also trying to make it big. Like, that's his whole thing, which is ironic because he totally did make it big. But he's really obsessed with the idea of making it big, which is understandable. Like, I don't hate the guy for it. I mean, he's a hard worker. So yeah, you put the two of them together and it's on HBO. Look, I'll check it out. I'm not gonna pretend I'm not.
Yeah, I'll watch it. As much as my wife clowns me for watching wrestling, she'll sit there with me for like 15 minutes just to be like, what is this nonsense? And just to make fun of it, just like I do with her shows, all them housewife shows.
They're garbage. I mean, in fairness, you're just watching the male versions of this.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not throwing stones. As long as it's better than the Urban Wrestling Alliance, I'll watch it.
I don't know what that is.
The Urban Wrestling Alliance was an all-black wrestling show. All black wrestlers. Well, predominantly black wrestlers. Like it's because how we always gotta make our own shit because we're not really given opportunities.
Of course.
We're still not given opportunities. That was a black wrestling promotion. And God help you. God love you. It just wasn't that good.
Well, that's unfortunate. All right. So there you go. That's a one news story this week.
This week we went and we asked you people what you want to talk about. And you told us in 2 different locations, making my job all that more difficult.
Thank you.
Nerd question of the week. What do you people want us to talk about? Trey says, now that everyone is home, can we talk about the brilliance of canon ninja movies and how they're available to watch on physical and streaming, and how they are available to watch on physical and streaming platforms? Confession, never seen a movie with the word ninja in it, other than like Ninja Scroll.
How is this? Oh, you are you are the worst. You are the goddamn worst. I have seen in this list, I have seen American Ninja. I have seen American Ninja 2, American Ninja 3, American Ninja 4. I think I've seen. That's the one that does not have Frank Dudikoff in it. Or excuse me, Michael Dudikoff. I think I've definitely seen Ninja 3, The Domination. I'm pretty sure I've seen Revenge of the Ninja. Yeah, look, I love these movies. The American Ninja movies are unique trash. Like, they're canon films, so like they're definitely garbage. But I enjoy them. Like, they had I can't remember the black dude's name. He died of like cancer maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But it was like Michael Dudikoff and him. Like, they were military guys, but turns out Michael Dudikoff was actually a trained ninja, and they had to go up against other ninjas. The shit was amazing. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. I'm pretty sure that you can find them on YouTube in full. I'm pretty sure they were like fully released, like legally released on YouTube. Yeah, those movies are fun. Like, they're a good time. They're like solid 80s movies. I highly recommend them. Like, drinking's cool. Like, that's a good drinking movie. Or in your case, eating Cheetos and drinking Sprite, I guess. You're too straight-laced. But, yeah, I can't believe you've never seen any ninja movies. How, man?
Ken says Jay picked the right picture with his non-DiGiorno pizza eating ass. How I couldn't believe it when I heard that. Micah, how did you let this happen?
Micah's never had a DiGiorno either.
I have. I'm not uppity.
Aren't they the pizzas you make at home?
Yeah.
Yes, this sounds like poor people shit.
You don't even like make them at home. You don't even make them at home. You buy them frozen and just put them in the oven.
Wait, no. I thought the DiGiorno's pizzas were the ones that you buy the crust, like the fancy crust, right? And then you just throw like.
Oh, you know what? You're right. And then
it's not a frozen pizza.
Yeah, you put whatever. Yeah, you are 100% right.
Okay, yeah, I've never had that before.
I mean, I've had homemade pizza.
Yeah, sure.
Not DiGiorno's. Like, we had homemade pizza the other day, but not DiGiorno's. And I'm not my brother's keeper. So,
am I not my brother's keeper? No.
Mark says, which movie were you guys looking forward to the most this year that has been pushed back to a later release date. Also, I highly recommend that you guys check out Hulu's Devs if you're for some great cinematography and theological discussions on the existence of God. Mark, you are not the first person to tell me that I should probably watch Devs.
Yeah.
I hear it's very good. The only movie I can think of off the top of my head is Black Widow. As much as I will be there for that Fast and Furious movie, I'm not dying.
Right. I don't need to see. I'm willing to risk it all. Yeah, Black Widow is the same for me. I was really actually quite excited to see that. But yeah, it's the same thing. I'm fine to wait on Fast and Furious. It doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, sorry, I've never had a DiGiorno's, by the way. I just never had one.
You ain't missing much.
I don't feel like I am.
Cam says, I missed my chance to ask this on Dense Pixels this week, but it's applicable here as well. I'm finally playing through GTA 5 for the first time. Almost said GTA V. I'm playing through GTA 5 for the first time, and it struck me while playing the first heist. What if Rockstar made a Fast and Furious game in this same vein? Think about it. I know there is that shitty-looking Fast and Furious game coming, but it's not going to be good. So what if a good studio made a Fast and Furious game where you plan the jobs, you can street race in your free time to get new, better cars for missions and unlock new characters to be used for the heists. If that game would have been made with Vin Diesel and everybody signed on to do the voices, you can't tell me it wouldn't sell millions of copies.
I would buy that game.
It probably would sell millions of copies, but they could just make another Grand Theft Auto and it would sell 1 billion copies.
Well, you know what? You're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah, they already made it. It's called Grand Theft Auto 5.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
If anything, bring those characters into Grand Theft Auto 6 and use Fast and Furious branding.
There you go.
Inside Grand Theft Auto.
Just make a DLC.
Yeah, and you'll be fine. Because that's what a lot of Grand Theft Auto DLC is anyway. It's just like a bunch of fucking
heist and shit. Yeah, just be like, the Fast and the Furious pack. Right. This one's got fucking Cena in it. Why? I don't know.
It's got a car that can fly.
It's got a magnet playing, yo. Fuck it, who cares? Why not?
Gustavo says, I know you guys would never watch One Piece, but you really should try reading the manga instead. They have the Shonen Jump app for free, and you can get to read the first and last 3 chapters or pay $2 a month for unlimited. You get to read all of the chapters in any series on the app. Isn't One Piece, Gustavo, like 800,000 chapters? Like,
no, it's not that short. It's not that short. Gustavo is lying to you. It's the wild thing about One Piece. Let me tell you something about One Piece that I don't know anything about. One Piece is the War and Peace of manga, right? Like, it is 4 billion pages long. There are 900,000 episodes. No one has ever seen all of One Piece or read all of One Piece. That is a lie. Gustavo, you are a liar. I don't appreciate your lying on the internet, on Al Gore's internet. Yeah, look, I mean, there's only 2 minds of One Piece, right? It is awesome, or I'm not reading all of that, or I'm not watching all that. Like, those are the only 2. That's the only 2 arguments I ever hear about One Piece. I don't have a problem with it. I don't really know anything about it.
He's getting me here. He says it includes racism, government corruption, religion, and excellent world building. It sounds good.
Okay, all right.
But I know I would never. I'm reading like old issues of Green Lantern right now, so I would.
Jesus Christ, you're becoming your father, you fucking nerd.
Rashawn says, which Jay's issue with cutscenes in video games, especially with video games he thinks hasn't changed from the original, when he won't know unless he watches the cutscenes.
Because I'm not watching the same ones I've seen literally 6 or 7 times before. I'm not watching Cloud and Tifa sit on that fucking playground for 45 fucking minutes. Do you remember that shit? How you couldn't skip it? It's the worst. It was the worst. No, never again. No, I will ask Micah, is it something different? Cool, great. Skip. I almost fell asleep watching a cutscene the other day when I was playing. I was like, yo, this is taking too long. Let's go.
You can hit the circle button to skip like regular dialogue, and I think you can just pause it and skip.
Yeah, in the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like not in the original. They wouldn't let you skip shit. Like the major shit, no. Sit your ass right there. I'm like, yo, this is mad boring. Who cares? Let me tell you about the history of materia. Hey, is that a gun? Yeah, it's a gun. I'm gonna put it in my mouth. Shut up. Yeah. No, I love that you can skip. That's my favorite part of the remake. Like it's literally skipping unnecessary cutscenes that I've seen 4,000 times. Graphics, gameplay. it's in that order.
Johnny says, have you been keeping up with Dark Side of the Ring? They just did an episode of Vince McMahon bribing the cops after Jimmy Snuka killed his girlfriend.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
But I will try to catch up.
I really want to watch this show. I've never had a chance to watch a full episode, but they always sound super interesting to me.
Wrestling, the most interesting thing about wrestling isn't the in-ring work. And it should be, because a lot of in-ring work is very good nowadays. But the most interesting thing about wrestling is not the stories that they tell you. It's the stories that they don't tell you. The shit that happens in real life.
Right.
Like there was like fights on planes and shit. And
wait, what?
Yeah, and people just fucking there's like a lot of death revolves around wrestling.
Yeah, that I've become acutely aware of, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's morbidly interesting. Malcolm says, "Yeah, I'll address the elephant in the room. I'm not talking Jay's Napoleon complex.
I don't have a Napoleon complex. I'm the greatest person ever. I don't have a Napoleon complex."
Will The Rock and Issa Rae be an item in this wrestling series they're working on? Because, Dwayne don't diddle with the Brown.
He's not in it.
I don't think he'll be in it. I think he's just lending his name to it. I don't think she'll be in it. I think she's just lending her name to it. And Rashawn is right. He dated a black woman in the last season of Ballers.
Yeah. And then he got so angry, he just canceled his own show. He was like, ugh.
He that was his soul plane.
Yeah, he was like,
all right, we ain't doing this movie.
Yep. That'll be our last movie, and then we'll blow our brains out at the end of it.
Carl says, this is quarantine life, and there are no rules. What popular podcast host would you like to create a new podcast with? And what would the podcast be about? I think you are more apt to answer this question.
I am more apt. That's a good question. I was trying to think about this. Who is
like, you listen to a ton of podcasts?
I do. I
would want maybe a podcast with Bill Burr, but it would just be his show with me on it.
You just laughing in the background live.
Right.
Mine, honestly, would be, I would do a podcast with, it would be with two people, because I think they would be super interesting to hang out with. It would be with my two fucking political nerd friends, Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow. And it would just be us just drinking and talking about the news. Like, and I want their unfiltered commentary. I think it would be fucking fantastic.
See, I've been telling you for years that you need a voice to go back and forth with. That is opposed to your views. Not a lunatic, right? Like
not a lunatic. I already have Andy. He's crazy.
But you need like if you need like a Ben Shapiro. If Ben Shapiro was like,
I would kill him on the first episode. I would murder him. We couldn't be in the same studio.
Like if I for some reason had center right leanings.
That would be the only show we ever did together.
and we would go back and forth talking about politics, but like being like reasonable.
Yeah, like a reasonable person. Yeah, I mean that would be fun. It would be fun. It would be interesting. Like I used to listen to a podcast back in the day called Left, Right, and Center. I don't even know if it still exists. And that was 3 hosts. It was like a left-wing guy, a right-wing guy, and like a sort of a centrist. And that was interesting to listen to. But what would end up happening with inevitably with those shows is they would disagree on the margins. And because it was 3 people who were willing to sit in a room together, they tend to agree more than not.
Really?
Yeah, like even if you're a right winger, like and a left winger, it's like they're 2 reasonable people. That's why they're sitting and podcasting together. So they'd just be like, they would find a middle ground that wasn't that crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's just inherent to being able to hold adult, intelligent conversations. You can just be like, well, I don't agree with that. I agree. You know, what about this? And they'd be like, oh, okay, well, I can understand that point. Maybe I don't fully agree with it. So it just started kind of just blending into like the center. Like it wasn't really as opposed as you would think it would be.
Oh, okay. So you need a lunatic.
Yeah, you have to have a lunatic. You got to have 2 lunatics. You got to like, and then it's just 2 people. How many episodes can they do before they try to kill each other? Right? And just like, it just devolves into you're a fucking lunatic and just end Skype call. Right? Like I don't know how long that could last. Like I can't even listen to right-wing radio. It just makes me fucking angry.
Right-wing radio is hilarious. Now look, I can only listen to
it. Yeah, I don't find it hilarious at all. I don't find it funny at all.
I can only listen to it in like 10-minute chunks. But
yeah, so you're where I am.
But it's look, every time.
Well, you got me beat by like 8 minutes.
Every time I listen to it, it's hysterical because it all sounds the same. Yeah. They all go to the same, Rush Limbaugh school of being up on the mic like this. They all talk like that. It's so annoying. Except for Mark Levin, who has the worst voice in radio history. The worst. Awful. Will says, what are your top 5 documentaries of all time? And would Terrence consider doing a documentary spinoff podcast? We can't get this nigga to come to this one. So,
yeah. He's at home. I'm busy. You're busy doing what? Jerking off? Get out of here.
Get out of here, man.
I'd actually like that would be interesting because Terrence is a huge documentary fan.
Terrence does not like joy, but he does like.
He does not like joy.
He doesn't. He don't like joy. But
welcome to the Unjoyful Podcast with Terrence. I guess I'm your host or whatever. Fuck you.
I mean that is the intro.
I mean it kind of is. It kind of.
Like tell me you can't hear that in Terrence's voice.
I'm channeling it.
So he likes knowledge, right? Like he doesn't like being stupid.
Yeah.
And he will soak up a documentary. Like whenever you hear like Terrence will all of a sudden just one day just be like, you know what the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath is, right?
Right. Like, no, Terrence, we don't. Please school us, you fucking lunatic.
And then he will go on for 5 minutes expounding upon the differences, like not just like a textbook definition, but like here are the real differences between these two, because I've watched so many documentaries about people killing black people that I understand what sociopathy and psychopathy are.
Right. Yeah, no, that's him. That's 100% him. So yeah, I don't know. Email that nigga. Don't ask us. Yeah, he is a huge documentary fan. My top documentaries. Ooh, that's interesting. I'd have to really think about that. I did get pretty far. I didn't finish it because like I have a life. I did get pretty far into the Ken Burns Vietnam documentary. That was pretty fucking fascinating. I'm trying to think. There's some other ones. Like 13th, I thought was really good. I don't know if it's my top 5, but That one was pretty excellent. I haven't really watched any documentaries in maybe in the last probably year. But I certainly love documentaries, and I'm a huge, much like Terrence, I'm a huge fan of knowledge. I can only watch so many depressing documentaries.
That's my thing. I can't watch too many depressing documentaries. The documentaries I like are like about charlatans and flim-flam men, and like people like that Firefest documentary.
Yo, that was good.
Interesting to me.
Yeah, that one was. I do like a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like
disaster documentary.
Yeah, I do like that.
I need people other than black people to be affected.
Tiger King, really enjoyed it.
Like it was ridiculous, but yeah, I remember liking Exit Through the Gift Shop.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Yeah.
I'm just looking at a bunch of them.
I was gonna say you're definitely reading a list.
Yeah, of course. You think I just pulled that out of my ass?
Yeah, that one's about Banksy. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's a I like non-depressing documents.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Anthony says, what will happen to movie award season? Movie theaters are closed for the foreseen future. AMC might file for bankruptcy. Will the nominees be from one movie released from the late 2019 to March 2020? No, I think
this is a really good question, by the way.
It is, but it's not. I don't think access is one thing. As long as you well, maybe, yeah, because I guess technically it has to be shown on a certain amount of screen.
Hey, by the way, boy, does that really backfire in your fucking face now, right? Spielberg and all those guys saying it has to be released in the theater. All the Academy say it has to be released in theater. You going to change that rule? Is it only for this year?
That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do it.
Yeah, but then Netflix has a really good argument of, oh, so all of our movies are they allowed now? Oh, crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Now you got to open the floodgates now, because you can't do that for 1 year and then turn around and not do it for the next year. I mean, you could. It's just a shitty thing to do.
I want to be a dick, but I 100% see the Academy doing that.
Yeah, but that's obnoxious. Like, so what's the difference, right?
Yeah.
I think they should only allow movies that were in theaters this year. So that gives Bloodshot a pretty good run at Best Picture. It's like Bloodshot, Sonic the Hedgehog, Onward, Frozen, right? Or Frozen 2. Yeah, that's it. Those are the 5 movies that came out this year. That's it. So everything else, yeah, you're fucked.
Gustavo wants you to be on Dense Pixels. Nope. Kevin says,
see, I feel like you went by that one rather quick. You didn't even ask my opinion.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I don't want this to be the Jogger Take My Strength podcast.
Yo, wow, that's a deep cut. I'll see if anybody picks that one up. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the reference I made on Dense Pixels for you. Kevin says 90s porn and R&B. You're in my wheelhouse. Yes, please.
Yeah, one of them I know. The other one is R&B.
Natasha says, "What are your top 10 movies of all time?" That's an incredibly unfair question.
Wait, top 10 movies of all time?
Yeah, that's an incredibly unfair question.
Yo, I need like mad time to think about that. I'll give you my top 2 movies of all time. When Harry Met Sally is my favorite movie of all time. And Kill Bill, Part 1. It's my second favorite movie of all time.
You don't like Kill Bill as a whole? I like Kill Bill as a whole.
I do, but I'm just looking at them as separate movies. I certainly prefer the first over the second.
You know what? Little Shop of Horrors. Die Hard with a Vengeance. I kind of like that more than Die Hard. I know. It's blasphemy.
Yo, Terrence is going to fuck you up next week.
I kind of like Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I mean, Die Hard with a Vengeance is great. Like,
right. It really is good.
I love Die Hard, and I like Die Hard with a Vengeance. I'm not mad at that.
Snatch is probably my favorite Guy Ritchie movie.
Okay.
Jurassic Park is probably my favorite Spielberg movie.
Okay, that's fair. By the way, don't you ever in your life curl your fucking lips up to talk shit about me liking Temple of Doom. All right? Because you just said you like Die Hard with a Vengeance over Die Hard. Don't fucking say anything to me ever again. Nah, I'm holding that shit right in my back pocket.
Temple of Doom is not good.
Yo, fuck you.
If Temple of Doom is on TV and Die Hard with a Vengeance is on TV, you're watching Die Hard with
Well, of course I am.
Oh, well,
but that's not... Granted, that's true. Those are two very different movies. But in their own thing, you're not allowed to judge me anymore. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, continue.
I would have to you would have to ask me that for directors. What's your top movie from a specific director? I mean, that's a fair question.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to name my top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah.
But I as I've thought about it more, I'll tell you a movie that has entered my top 10. Tombstone. That's in my top 10.
Really?
Yo, I love that movie, dude. That movie's super good.
I'm not a huge Western guy, but I have seen Tombstone, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Gustavo says, "Will you ever ask Terrence to babysit?" I saw that, and I immediately had to reply, "No, hell no, hell no. Are you crazy? Are you crazy, Gustavo? I like you, man, but like, nah, yo, Terrence is not the type of person that I would rely on for anything."
He's gonna be so pissed when he shows up next week.
You know,
like, fuck you, yo.
Come on, yo. No, I think Terrence will be like, "You right."
Don't call me.
What I'm gonna do? What is he gonna do?
I don't know that I would trust Terrence to watch my kid.
No.
He probably would. Like, Terrence is one of those guys, and it's funny because he's not here, so you can just throw him directly under the bus. Terrence is one of those guys who I feel like would shock you. Like you'd leave him, and then like you come back, and the kid's like, "I had a great time. We did all this stuff." I'd be like, "With Terrence?" Like, yeah, he was talking the whole time. Terrence was talking the whole time. That's crazy. yeah. So you never know.
I also don't want my son to, like, I want him to hate white people for his own reasons.
Right. Through his own experience. Terrence is like, look, these are the rules of the Black Panther Party. Like, yo, relax, my nigga. Like, relax. Just calm down. Yeah, like, my daughter would come back and be like, you know what, I hate my white half. I'd be like, yo, what the fuck happened? I hung out with Uncle Terrence. All right, well, never again.
7 more, real quick.
All
Leonardo says, what would you do if you won the lottery during this pandemic, assuming the lottery is still like $10 million or something?
Pay off all of my debts?
Yeah, because that's the only thing I really can do right now.
Yeah. Order takeout?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, yeah, I would pay off all of my debts. So when this shit was over, I know what I would do besides paying off my debts. I go to this travel website from time to time, and they have mad flights, mad cheap with flexible booking. I would book a bunch of shit for summer 2021. That's what I would do. Yeah, and if it worked out, great. If I lost it because shit was still going off with COVID, no big deal.
It was $10 million.
Yeah, I got $10 million. It's fine.
Yeah, travel. I'm gonna steal your answer. Travel is,
that's what you should do.
Now that I've done it, I really enjoy it.
So. Yeah, that's what everyone should do. If you've never traveled outside of the U.S., if you are listening and you're in the U.S. or wherever your native country is, travel, man. If you can, that is something you should do. It's definitely worth your time.
Khalif says, have any of you gone into the stock market and invested in things like movie theaters, airlines, hotels, Disney, or AMC theaters while their prices were low? We thought about it, but like my wife was like, "Oh, what do you think about investing in Apple?" And I'm like, do you know what you're talking about?
Just pick Apple. No, that's super expensive.
It's like $400 a share or some shit. Like,
no.
Get out of here.
Girl, you better relax.
You got some money that I don't know about.
I have not bought any stock while everything is down. No. I have other priorities besides pissing my money away in the stock market that I barely understand. I have in the past. Didn't make any. So
Lisa says, do any of you know just how hot is a bitch? Taken from the original Urban reference. It's hotter than a bitch.
I unfortunately don't, but I am aware that it's cold as a witch's tit in a steel brassiere is like below zero. That I do.
Yeah,
that's the only one I know.
That's what someone right below this comment says.
Oh, really?
The winter version of it is colder than a witch's tit. And Lisa, who I think is from Miami, she's like, yeah, I ain't never heard that.
Yeah, I know. It's 75 degrees there all the time. Go fuck yourself.
I am assuming that that the said bitch that it is hotter than is 98.6 degrees.
There you go.
If it's hotter than 98.6 degrees, it is hotter than a bitch.
And you have a fever and you need to go. You probably have COVID.
Lisa also says, when are we getting that Black on Black Cinema original film slated for pre-production? Yeah, I heard you said it, Jay, and now I'm holding you to it.
Yeah, relax.
The production got pushed because of all this COVID-19 stuff. So.
Right. He's got pushed to 2025. We just want to make sure we're trying to keep everybody safe. We're not fucking around, by the way. Not fucking around.
Dwayne
at least 30 minutes.
Dwayne says, did we ever get that MCU retrospective? I wouldn't mind doing that, but it would probably have to just be with you and I, because getting everyone together is difficult.
It would be really hard. It's also like, I think people forget that we have lives. Honestly, like, hey, why you guys do that? Yo, you know how many hours that would be?
Oh, I wouldn't rewatch the movies.
No.
This. No. I wouldn't rewatch the movies for this. And it would be like one regular episode, and we would just go through each.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah. It was suggested like, let's do each movie. No. Who has that kind of time? I don't.
No, we ain't doing that.
I don't have that kind of time, and I'm stuck at home. I don't have that kind of time. No.
I wouldn't mind doing that if you wanted to sit down and do that one day.
Yeah. I mean, look, if we could coordinate, maybe it would be like a multi-part thing, or, like, I don't know, but it would have to be something you could do in a day.
Yeah. White Facts with Jay. I mean, Black on Black Cinema.
Go fuck yourself.
Black Facts with Jack. Jack, whenever Jack wants to come on, he's welcome.
Always.
Maicha's Chronicles with the apple-headed girl. There's not really much more to say with Jen. There's not really much more to say about Jen, the apple-headed girl.
That's not what you called her.
Oh, the apple-headed bitch. Yeah, Jen, the apple-headed bitch.
I don't think I've seen Terrence laugh so hard. I wish I could remember what episode that was.
I sometimes, I sometimes I'm like, maybe I should look her up. She probably won't remember me, but maybe I should look her up and just see how she's doing and show her a picture of my family. Like that's what she wanted, because she told me on our first phone conversation. Oh. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, relax.
Terrence's hit list. Just look out the window. Anybody white, they on the list.
Yeah, they probably on the list.
Terrence hates white people, and Caucasians for some reason.
Yeah, he didn't like the good ones.
Carrie says, how the fuck do I get rid of these weeds in my garden? They are relentless. Anthony is the person that you need to talk to.
Anthony is a lawn guy. He's not a garden guy.
I mean, he's willing to help.
Yo, Anthony, look, if you don't follow Anthony on Instagram, it's weird because Anthony shit will pop up on Instagram. I'm like, oh, this is an advertisement for Lawn Doctor. Like, yo, your lawn looks like a golf course. Like, this shit is crazy. It's so nice.
I have lawn envy with him. His lawn looks immaculate. Now that I have a lawn.
Yeah, you gotta call up the fucking lawn doctor and be like, yo, hook me up with your secrets.
Because I got a lot of like spots and brown areas, and I'm like, yo, I'm really not feeling this.
It's actually really quite funny. Here's like an old man conversation for just a quick second. I messaged Anthony once. I was like, "Hey, like, what do you do for your lawn?" And he was like, he got into his fucking lawn bag for a second. He's like, "You got to get the fucking fertilizer 125 or whatever." I'm like, "All right, nigga, I don't understand this shit." But we were kind of laughing back and forth because he's like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm like, I'm into gardening. Like, that's my whole thing." And Carrie is now old too, so she's also into it. And he was saying like, yeah, we all pick. Eventually, we all just like pick our old person thing that we're into. He was like, I pick grass. He's like, you pick gardening. Some people pick cars. This is like, he was like, yeah, that's just how it goes. I'm like, that's 100% correct. Like, that's exactly how it works.
Yeah,
yeah. And it picks you. It's more the thing. It just somehow it picks you.
For some reason, I'm into toys now.
Yeah,
as you can see.
Yeah, because it's gotten like way worse.
Yeah. you can't see the rest of
oh, really? Oh, okay.
You can't see the rest of what's going on.
Yeah. But no, don't worry, buddy. But you're gonna get an outdoor hobby. Like it'll happen. It'll either be your lawn or gardening or
probably my lawn, and I could see that. I want a shed also.
That it's like the line from fucking was it Dawn of Justice? It's like that's how it begins. The loathing. Like you get a shed, yo, it's over because you're gonna be out there. You be like you're gonna get it built, and you're gonna get it built. Then you're going to be mad that you didn't build it yourself. And then you're going to have that thought and be like, what am I, crazy? Of course I should have gotten it built. And then you're going to put shit in it. And then you're going to be like, well, I need to fill it with things for the lawn. And then it's over. And you're going to be out there like Anthony picking weeds out of your grass by hand on your knees on a Saturday morning.
All right, look, am I crazy?
Yeah.
I want a shed, but I want it to be like a gym. Like I want a gym shed.
Yo, how big do you want this shed? Sheds are they can get mad expensive.
I know, but I want a gym shed because I don't have a basement.
Yeah, that's right, you don't.
And I don't like going to the gym. I would prefer to work out at home. So I want a gym shed. And I've been looking it up. It doesn't have to be huge, right?
No, it doesn't have to be.
But I don't know. If you have a gym shed, let me know what kind of shed you have.
I feel like you could get away with like one of those like $1,200, $1,500 sheds because it just needs to be tall enough to get like some sort of rack in there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You could do that.
I'll dish out $1,500 to $2,000 for a shed.
Oh yeah, you can get that at Home Depot. Absolutely, and they come and build it for you.
I told my wife that I want a gym shed, and she was like, "Well, I mean, I can still put some stuff in it, though." I'm like, "No, I want my gym shed."
No,
she's like, "Oh, okay, you want a he shed?"
Yeah, he shed. she's gonna burn down your he shed, man. Don't do it. See, you saw it. Look, see how she's acting. It's over. You can come out there and your rack is gonna be on fire. Like, what happened? Call the insurance company.
And finally, Jay, a different Jay, Jay from Japan.
Yes.
Have any of you been watching the versus battles? And who would you want to see have a battle? Also, if there could be a film battle, who would you want to see versus each other? So,
like film characters?
I think no. I think like whose career would you stack up again? What director's career would you stack up?
Oh, I see.
Career? I haven't been watching. I watched the premiere RZA battle. I enjoyed that. The babyface Teddy Riley one. I mean,
you're talking about like the ones on IG. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
That's what I'm assuming because Jay does like music. He does really good music. I like his music. He does music and so that's what I'm assuming he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I got you.
And, but I watched the Teddy Riley babyface one, but not because it was hard because, all the technical difficulties and Teddy Riley is just just a nigga, yo. But
that's your boy.
But I love that music.
Yeah.
A film battle. Whose careers would I put up against one another? It would have to be like two.
I have a good one.
Like who would I put up against Quentin Tarantino? Right.
That's it. That's an interesting one.
Because that's a difficult one, right? Like I respect Robert Rodriguez, but his filmography doesn't touch Quentin Tarantino's, right?
No. I got one. F. Gary Gray versus Antoine Fuqua.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because they're at the same level. Like they're right there.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a kind of a fun one.
Who would you put up against Steven Spielberg? Because Steven Spielberg,
James Cameron.
Numbers. Oh yeah,
yeah,
a real good one.
Yeah, that's James Cameron. Like,
all right, well, who would win though? Because one, Steven Spielberg's got the numbers, but War Horse is in one of them. You know what I mean? Like
War Horse. The problem is Cameron can bring big box office numbers with like 2 movies. But Spielberg is like cinema spectacle, like person. No, I wouldn't. No, I would say Cameron is spectacle personified, but Spielberg is like film personified. Like he makes movies that are just like 4-quadrant movies that just hit and are iconic. Like it would be hard to say. I would probably tend to go with Spielberg, but it's not like James Cameron doesn't make some fucking great fun movies. I mean, fucking Terminator and like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, look, Quiet as It's Kept, Avatar is a garbage film as far as story, but it looks fucking beautiful. So, yeah, that would be a fun one to do.
Would you put Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese?
Okay, that's a good battle. That's a good battle because Tarantino is clearly, you know, influenced by Scorsese, but Scorsese has like one lane he kind of stays down.
Yeah.
Or like actors, Al Pacino versus De Niro.
Right.
Right, like that.
Who would you put against your boy, Tom Cruise?
Will Smith.
Movie star.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Or no, Denzel.
Okay, I'll give you that because they are. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I think Denzel and Cruise would be a good match because, you know, everybody knows like all of their big movies, but is there their smaller movies that were like in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s that really kind of shows off their acting. Like people say, oh, Denzel is, you know him for like, you know, whatever big movies, but like how many people saw Ricochet? That's a good ass movie that Denzel Washington was in, like a really good movie. And like, you know, there's a lot of like Tom Cruise movies that people like don't really think about anymore. So yeah. Or Tom Cruise versus Will Smith would be pretty good too. Cause they feel like similar level guys as well. Franchises, Fast and Furious versus Mission Impossible.
I don't.
Equally crazy.
They're equally crazy, but they're not of the same quality.
No, you're right.
Like,
they're not.
Like you know, they're not even the same genre at this point. Like it would be.
Well, one is pure fantasy.
It would be a 3-way battle between Bourne, Impossible, and Bond, right? Like,
yeah,
those are the big spy franchises. First of all,
Bourne loses.
Yeah, Bourne loses immediately.
Yeah, because it doesn't have a fucking steady cam, and it makes me fucking nauseous.
Nobody knows what the fuck Treadstone is, right?
No.
But everyone knows what the Impossible Mission Force is.
Yeah, that name is fucking stupid. It's just dumb. That's why they call it IMF all the time. Let's see. Who else? We'll try to think of one more and move on.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it actually is.
Which streaming services, like between Amazon and Netflix, who you got, right? Because while Netflix has
how about this? A better question. Just on original content.
Yeah, just on original content is what I mean when I say Netflix and Amazon, because Netflix they've been around for a while, and they kicked it off right with House of Cards, right? It took the world by storm, but Amazon has gems. The problem is nobody. I feel like nobody knows about it. And look, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass.
No, dude, there's a lot of stuff on Amazon people never talk about.
Yeah, man.
They never do.
I don't know, man.
I not that I think their original content is great, but I would even just honorable mention for Hulu. Like, they've got a lot of original content, like a ton. Nobody watches it. Harlots. Nobody watches that shit. But they got a ton of shit. But they also have Handmaid's Tale, which is, fucking clutch. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Amazon's original content is like pretty good. So, yeah. But Netflix has a lot of original content that's fucking stellar. So, I
mean, Netflix has award-winning original content.
Nigga, they got Ozark. And Ozark is Breaking Bad level good. Like, it is.
Yeah.
You got to put respect on that show. You just have to. All right. Is that the end of the questions?
That's it.
All right. All right. Thank you for those. Probably going to ask you next week. So if you had something that you wanted to get out there, just save it for next week. All right, Micah, take it away for What the Fuck.
Oh, crap. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Fuck. Brought to you by JTD. It's loading, which means it's from some weird fucking website.
WeirdAsianNews.com.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not coming up.
All right. I'll go to mine. Let's see. This won't be hard to guess. The CEO of International God's Way Church is said to have launched the product during the last Sunday service he organized at his church. According to him, the coronavirus outbreak in China is a concern for him, and out of fear for that disease that it will reach his where he operates, he decided to find the coronavirus oil. In a report,
Africa.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, yo.
Yes, this is in Ghana. A pastor says that he has found coronavirus oil that he can use and his people can use as a defense physically and spiritually. The oil cost. How much do you think a bottle of this oil costs, Micah?
How big is the bottle? Like, they don't give you like how big the bottle is.
Let's say the bottle. I'm holding up my hand. Let's say the bottle is like this big.
$75.
That's a good guess. 37 United States dineros.
Oh, still. All right, that's $40.
Yeah,
for a fifth.
for a fifth.
For a fifth of Corona oil.
Nigga, that's olive oil. Nigga, that's olive oil or canola oil. That he just probably misread the label. He was like, yeah, coronavirus. He was like, yeah, this is short. Yeah, this is it. Got it. Apparently, according to this article, the oil has been approved by the FDA Heavenly Department. According to the pastor says that it has been approved by the FDA Heavenly Department. That's what he says. Yo, this dude is like, wow, this guy is wearing like very fancy clothes. And he's even wearing a shirt that says hustle, where the S is a $sign on his Instagram. And people are really giving this nigga money. Yo, this nigga's in Ghana wearing an all black New York Yankees hat. Yo, you guys are wild, man. You guys go to church. That is wild to me. That's super wild. These dudes are stealing your money.
I know someone who works for the FDA. I'll have to ask her about the FDA Heavenly Department.
The Heavenly Department. I'd like you to get back to me on that information. Because I don't want you to guess that that's not real. I want you to research it. I need you to research it. All right, did your story come up?
No, it didn't. But see if you can open it. From what I can see, from the URL, Man sentenced to prison over 2 years for over 2 years for claiming ex-wife's privates smelled like salted fish. I really want to see this story now, and it's not odditycentral.com is not opening it up for me. It's from Indonesia because it says it in the URL.
Well, salted fish is a very specific smell, so I guess this guy would know.
I mean,
you how long you staying with a woman who's
that don't douche, that don't douche, that don't keep the douches in her bushes?
But you shouldn't, like, women shouldn't do that. Like, it's apparently bad for them. But
apparently, well, guess what? You need to do something.
How long you staying with the woman you love? I'm not talking about your wife. If you were dating a woman and you were like, this is less than optimal.
I can't. I got this thing, like, where it feels like it'll latch onto you. and then it just kind of, and then you smell like it. You know what I mean?
It's like Seinfeld with the car. They couldn't get the funk out.
Yo, exactly. Like you ever change a kid's diaper, right? And you don't want to smell it, so you breathe through your mouth, but you don't want to breathe through your mouth because you feel like the funk will be in your mouth and you'll have shitty breath. Like, is that just me?
Yeah, that's 100% just you because you're fucking insane. No, I don't have that thought because I'm not a psychopath or a sociopath according to Terrence. So, no, I don't have that problem.
All right. Well, we do record diaper changes, with me and the boy because one, I don't want to get pissed on. And,
you moving at lightning speed?
Oh yeah. And two, he's got like a biohazard in his corner. Every time you open it up, it's like, it wafts.
Oh yeah. The diaper genie. Disaster.
Yeah, right. And I can't breathe through my mouth because I don't want shitty breath. And I can't breathe through my nose because I don't want to smell it.
Like, Michael, why are you wearing a mask? Are you worried about coronavirus? No. These diapers are horrible in my son's room.
Fucking my son's room smells like Resident Evil. There's like a biohazard in there. Like, get out of here.
Do you use the bag?
Yes. But, it's basically just a receptacle.
It is. Oh my God. All right. Trailers this week. There's a trailer for a new Netflix series a limited series called Hollywood. This is a retelling of sort of young, I guess, 1950s Hollywood. Where you have like a young black wannabe actor and a young white wannabe actor and actually a number of wannabe actors, and they're all young and they're all like forced to be kind of prostitutes at one point to kind of sleep their way into roles. And that was kind of like funny and interesting back in the day. And then the trailer takes a massive left turn and it starts like super dealing with race and stuff like that in Hollywood at the time. And sexual identity as well. What did you think of this trailer?
I thought it was super interesting. Normally I don't like period pieces, but right. I like films and TV shows about films and TV shows. And then when the trailer kept going, and it showed that it was something a little different than what it kind of originally purported itself as being. I was all in, man. This looks super interesting to me. The cast looks pretty great. This will be like the third thing that I've seen Samara weaving in like a month. So I guess her star is rising. It follows a group of aspiring actors and filmmakers in post-World War II Hollywood as they try to make it in Tinseltown no matter the cost. Each character offers a unique glimpse behind the gilded curtain of Hollywood's golden age, spotlighting the unfair systems and biases across race, gender, sexuality that continue to this day. Hollywood exposes and examines decades-old power dynamics and what the entertainment landscape might look like if they had been dismantled. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
That last sentence.
Yeah, because it seems like they're taking classic Hollywood stories and Hollywood bigotry, and then they're going to do kind of a what if.
Yeah.
Which will be really super interesting. Okay. All right. I'm down for it. I have a feeling that people are not going to read that last sentence and then get super offended.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's my guess. Like they won't get that it's like an alternative sort of idea. They'll whatever. They'll get mad. I have an interest in watching this. I think it looks interesting. All right. Any parting words for this week?
No.
Okay. Check out all the other shows. Everything else is still running as normal. There's a new episode of No Time to Bleed for our premium members on Stealth, the 2005 lunatic fringe film about smart planes and dumb people. So check that out. Also, I think so. Next week I'll do The Lighthouse and Extraction comes out.
Extraction comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. So with Chris Hemsworth, and that is written by one of the Russo brothers. So that should be really interesting to see how well that is. Trailer looked good.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching Extraction, and yeah, I might just watch The Lighthouse and just be done with it. I'm tired of watching shitty movies, man.
There's not another Guns Akimbo that you could get your hands on.
I was looking at Amazon Prime, and for the because I'm a Has Fallen guy.
Right.
Did you know there's another Has Fallen movie?
No.
It's called America Has Fallen.
Oh, the Dinesh D'Souza movie? Isn't that who directed that?
No, this is directed by Tom Getty. Former Marine Ryan Taylor's civilian life is thrown into chaos when he's implicated in a terrorist bombing.
Oh, I saw the trailer for this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
No, dude, you just said you didn't want to watch something dumb.
No,
Don't do that.
I'm not watching it. I'm not.
You're going to watch this stupid shit.
Maybe.
You can't help yourself. Your brain won't allow you to watch anything smart. It's like, no, I need some dumb as shit.
Because I'm working all the time, and all my smartness has to go into work.
Right, yeah. You just want to
veg out.
Yeah, you just want to tar it out. I get it. I get it.
But the ratio won't be, 3 stupid movies to 1 smart movie. Like,
right.
Nah, I can't do that.
If I get a chance, I'm not making any promises because my free time is very limited during the week. If I get a chance and it's on Amazon, I'm going to watch Midsummer.
All right.
So I'm going to watch it if I get a chance. If I watch it, and I all I will say is this. If I watch this and it is as crazy as everyone says it is, I implore you to watch this movie so we can have a conversation about it. But you also got to watch Good Time as well.
Yeah. I'm watching. Yeah, I ain't watching America's Fall. I'm watching Good Time and Extraction. Extraction will be my dumb movie.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be super dumb, but that's fine. Like that looks like a dumb fun action movie.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. All right, that is it for us. We will see you guys next week for another episode of the Nerdpocalypse.
See you.
Bye.
You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.